hope all the viewers are listening and are taking care of themselves. Please, I remind you, COVID is real. Try to observe the SOPs and try always to remind one another. In today's lesson, we are focusing on a topic, coordinate geometry, and this goes to all the Form 2s. In coordinate geometry, we shall be looking at different subtopics from pair of coordinates up to when they form a straight line. The first subtopic we are looking at is length of a line segment. That is in part A. So when we are looking at length of a line segment, we are focusing on the distance between 2 points. At times we can say magnitude or modulus. But when we have 2 points, for instance, we have A and B, the distance in between can be got as long as we have the coordinates of A and coordinates of B. Okay? It can also be got by measuring, but now we are interested in a situation where we have coordinates of the 2 points. So for us to get the magnitude or the length between AB, those 2 points A and B, we shall get a difference in their x coordinates. We square the result plus the difference of their y coordinates squared. I repeat, we sum the square of the differences of the x coordinates and y coordinates. Thereafter, we take the root. In the example below, we have A having x1 and y1, B having x2 and y2. So getting the magnitude of AB, we are getting x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Whether you do it vice versa, taking x1 minus x2 and y1 minus y2, the order does not matter. Okay? In math, we have many ways, but unique solution. In the example, when we put in the coordinates, A has 4, -1, B has 1, 3. So when we come to get the magnitude of AB, we subtract the x coordinates and we square 4 minus 1 squared plus the difference in the y coordinates, -1, -3 squared, giving us 9 plus 16. 16 is a result of -4 being squared. So this is a warning. Wherever you are considering a negative, enclose it in a bracket before squaring. Then it will lead us to a root of 25, giving us 5 units. But in case we have a root of a number which is not a whole number, that is to say, it is in decimal fraction, please write that number to a minimum of 5 decimal places. I repeat, in case your result is in decimal fraction, please write your answer to a minimum of 5 decimal places. Second subchapter, we shall be looking at a midpoint of a line segment. When we talk about a midpoint of a line segment, we are referring to that point where it divides the line into two equal parts. That is the midpoint. So if we have A with x1, y1 and B with x2, y2 as endpoints of a line segment, then their midpoint will be obtained by summing the x coordinates divided by 2, and for the y coordinate, summing the y coordinates divided by 2. We have an example where we are given A as 1, 3 and B as -3, 2. Finding the midpoint of AB, we sum 1 plus -3, the x coordinates, divided by 2, and we also sum 3 plus 2, the y coordinates, divided by 2. Our final answer becomes -1, 5 out of 2. I prefer leaving the number as a fraction because fractions are part of mathematics. In chapter 3, we look at the gradient, or what we call slope, of a straight line. Slope or gradient, we are basically looking at the steepness or gentleness of a slope. So when we look at the diagram, we are seeing that we have a point A and a point B. If we are to move from A to B, we shall have changed through two directions. We shall have a change in the x direction and we shall have a change in the y direction. In the x direction, we are moving from x1 to x2, and in the y direction, we are moving from y1 to y2. So the change in the x direction is what we have denoted by dx, and a change in the y direction is what we have denoted by dy. So meaning, if we are looking for gradient of a line segment, it is a change in y over change in x. Here the order matters so much. We always start with y on top over x on the bottom. So the change in y is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Whether you start with y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2, still you'll get the same answer. We have an example there. Find the gradient of PQ with P 69 and Q 25. We shall start with our change in the y coordinates, which is 9 minus 5, over the change in x coordinates, which is 6 minus 2, giving us 4 out of 4, which eventually comes to 1. The M there stands for gradient. We usually denote gradient by small m. I request for today we stop here, and please you attempt the exercise 1 on geometry before the next lesson. I wish you the best.